3, 2, 1. All right, so we have our map, we have our compass, we've used declination to draw lines on our map so that they speak the same language. So how do we actually use these two things together, right? So two important skills. The first one we're going to talk about here is we know our location and we're trying to travel to a known location, right? So we're at the trailhead and I want to know which direction it is to the lake, or I want to know which direction it is to camp, or I want to know which direction it is down that trail we're heading, right? So I want to head off in that direction, right? So the mnemonic we use is ELNA. This is something, if you take away from our class and our courses, you're going to want to remember this mnemonic, ELNA, right? And so it stands for edge, lines, needle, aim. These first two are done on the map, and the second two are done up in the real world. And that'll make a lot more sense when we're out on the trail. But this is my simplified map. And so edge, I talked earlier about the edge of that base plate compass, right? And we can use this edge or this edge. And I want to connect those 2 points, right? So point A and point B. If I want to head to that lake, I simply put my edge between those two points. Key point here is with that direction of travel arrow, I want to make sure that's pointed at my destination, right? So this would be wrong. But I want to point it at that destination. Or if I'm headed to camp, I want to put that edge from this point A to point B if I want to head to camp, right? But say for this example, we want to head to the lake. So edge, I'm going to put that edge between the two. Next is lines. I talked earlier about these orienting lines in the bottom of my bezel, right? These set of black parallel lines on my compass. What I'm going to want to do is, and I didn't draw my 13-degree lines on here, but I will now. Once I have that edge, I want to turn my bezel until these parallel lines match up with those 13-degree lines. If you can see here that they are indeed parallel. And what I also want to make sure is that north is pointing towards the top of my map. And you can see here the N on my bezel is pointing north. You notice that the lines are also parallel with north on the bottom. That would be wrong and give me a 180-degree error, which is the most common in navigation. But here, I want to have those parallel. Once I have that, I can take my compass, and at that direction of travel arrow or at that top of my bezel, I'm going to read my bearing. In this case, it is 12 degrees, right? And so if someone gives you a bearing, azimuth, direction, that's what they're going to read, and that's where you're going to read it right there. Once I have that bearing or azimuth, I'm going to take my compass, right? I'm going to get off my map, hold it in that compass position we spoke of earlier, and I'm going to put red thread in the shed. So that's the needle part of our exercise. So I'm going to hold it in the compass position and rotate my entire body until the red needle is inside that shed area. Right? And the last thing I'm going to do is aim. As I'm holding that position, I'm going to look up and find a landmark as far out as I can see and know that that is going to be my direction of travel for that portion. So if I were to walk in that direction, I know that I'm going to hit that lake eventually. And that is cross-country travel, right? Which sometimes we don't do. So sometimes what you can do on the map is take a bearing down this section of the trail, right? Because you know that's going to be the initial direction you're going to be traveling in. So edge, line, needle, aim. Going from you know your location and you're going to a known location. For example, if I was now going from the lake to camp, again, it becomes pretty simple. I put my edge between those two. That's edge, lines. I'm going to match those parallel lines with the 13-degree lines on my map. North is towards the top of my map. I take my compass out, hold it in front of me, box that needle, and aim towards that direction. So we're going to be practicing that on the trail, having a lot of fun.